Hello, grade 4. How are you? Are you ready to learn today? We will have social studies. Kindly bring out the things you need. Social studies books, student book, activity book, pen, and highlighter. Resources have very vital role in our lives. Now we're going to discuss about using our resources. Kindly bring out your student book and open to page 115. At the end of the day, you will understand why and how people have adapted to and modified their environment in the Middle East. Describe the development of the enterprise system. Analyze the effects of immigration, migration, and limited resources on the development of the Middle East. What is a natural resource? A natural resource is what people can use, which comes from the natural environment. Our natural resources may come from living things or from non-living things. Living things include trees, plants, birds, fish, and other animals. Non-living things include soil, land, water, air, metals, and other ores. Some resources can be renewable resources or non-renewable resources. Examples of renewable are sunlight, air, wind, and water. Non-renewable are fossil fuels, coal, and natural gas. What is a renewable resource? A resource that will not run out. Like for example, we have the first picture. It's a solar panel. It gets energy from the sun to produce solar power. Second one is wind turbine. And we also have water turbine. On the other hand, we have non-renewable or finite resource. A resource that will run out. Many of our resources are non-renewable. For example, humans are cutting down the Earth's forests at a faster rate than they can ever grow back. We are also using up the Earth's supply of fossil fuels such as oil, gas, and petroleum. We have examples here below: fuel, natural gas, and coal. People are using resources to meet our needs. People use natural resources to satisfy different human needs. People use land for homes and to grow crops. People need water. Animals can also help us meet our needs. Resources and colonization. Reasons for exploration and colonization. First is to expand the power of their countries. Shipping companies needed to set up ports. Missionaries wanted to convert others for religion. Explorers also wished to make their money by finding gold, diamonds, oil, and other resources. Adventurers wanted to see new places, and scientists wanted to study plants and animals of other places. We have some entrepreneurs wanted new sources of goods to sell. Ordinary people were curious about the culture of other countries, and countries with rich natural resources were very attractive to colonizers. Now let's learn more about a timeline of the history of Saudi oil. On page 119 of your student book, we have the full summary of the history of Saudi oil from 1800s and early 1900s. It started when Europeans who are visiting Iraq and Iran noticed that the land is very rich in petroleum. When in 1923, King Abdulaziz grants permission to a British group to explore for oil in the region. In 1926, the group fails to conduct their explorations, so they lose their opportunity. In 1930, the king invites a wealthy American businessman called Charles R. Crane to the kingdom. And in 1931, Mr. Crane sends an engineer to look for oil. He reports back on the rich oil reserves in the east of the country. In 1933, a Californian oil company gets 60-year rights to drill for oil in Saudi Arabia. In 1944, Aramco is formed, owned by oil companies in the USA. In 1973, the Saudi Arabian government takes a 25% share in Aramco. And finally, in 1980, Aramco becomes 100% Saudi owned. Now we'll see how these resources create jobs to the following professionals. I work as a laborer. I get paid by the hour or the day. I am a chemical engineer. I work at an oil refinery. I get paid monthly. I work as a caterer. I supply food for people who work at the factory. My catering company gets paid by the factory management. I work as an administrative assistant. I answer phone calls and type up documents. I am a consultant. I travel all over the world giving advice to different businesses. Remember the keywords? Free enterprise system is a system where people work and exchange labor, goods, and services for money to earn a living. Thus, Saudi Arabia has a free enterprise system. People can trade labor, goods, and resources for money. Many people come from other countries to work here. Have you seen a lot of foreigners here in the country? Can you name 3 people you know who work? Say what work they do and how the natural resources of our country affect their work. You can have share and talk moment with your family. Using resources sustainably. If you cut down a forest faster than it can grow back, you will eventually destroy the forest. This is called an unsustainable use of resources. When we use resources unsustainably, we use up or damage the supply of those resources. In order to protect natural resources for people in the future, we need to use our resources sustainably. Again, how? Sustainably. The Middle East is a hot, dry area that suffers from drought. We can conserve our water by first, taking showers instead of baths, keeping our dams and rivers clean, fixing any leaking taps or pipes, and only using as much water as we need. Can you do that? Remember the very important point, sustainable. Able to continue into the future at the same rate. Drought, shortage of rain. The Middle East is rich in oil reserves and other fossil fuels. But these reserves will not last forever. We can conserve fossil fuels by first, sharing car rides instead of driving alone. Not making unnecessary trips. Using public transport and walking and riding bikes when possible. Switching off lights and other appliances when we are not using them. And using energy efficient light bulbs and other appliances. I hope everyone has learned a lot from our lesson titled Using Our Resources. And please try to use our resources. What again? Use it sustainably. Now, kindly bring out your activity book. Open it to page 65. You will work on 65 to 66, okay? Thank you and study well.